Celestia Quixs has a way of writing posts that feel like they should come with a medical records request form and a lawyer on retainer.
Today, we're looking at a single post from Celestia Quixs that covers a lot of ground. Multi-generational medical advocacy, systemic bias in healthcare, and what happens when the tools that protect children fail adults entirely.
Let's start with the machinery of that failure.
The post frames its central tension around a generational split. The same family, the same rare diagnosis, and two entirely different experiences of the medical system, depending on whether you're a minor or an adult.
The post puts it plainly, and this is the line that anchors everything. The interplay of trauma, advocacy, and societal expectations highlights the challenges in navigating oppressive structures for both personal and familial well-being.
What that means in practice is that advocacy skills don't transfer automatically across the pediatric cliff. A mother who successfully fought for her children at a major children's hospital, bringing in an out-of-state expert, refusing isolation protocols, ultimately securing care at Legacy Emmanuel after a retaliatory dismissal, found those same tactics fail when applied to her own adult care.
And the dismissal itself is worth sitting with. The GI specialist, after being corrected by the outside expert, turned to the mother and said, "Never bring your children back here again." That's not a clinical decision.
Right, and the post traces how that dynamic scales up. The author, at 65, with a SPINK1-related hereditary chronic pancreatitis diagnosis shared across 3 generations, plus terminal pulmonary fibrosis, bronchiectasis, suspected CFTR-related disorder, and chronic aspergillosis, is now applying what her daughter learned to her own fight in the adult system.
Except the adult system has a different architecture entirely. In the pediatric context, the mother was fighting a local hospital's ego. In the adult system, the author is contending with what the post calls epic and care everywhere blacklisting, flags that travel nationally, pre-poisoning each new clinical encounter before a word is spoken.
The post documents this as an open urgent care letter and a mapping of systemic barriers. CPT 99205 is cited specifically because the author can't reestablish primary or specialist care, which then forces ER visits, which then generate the frequent flyer label the system uses to justify further denial.
A self-sealing loop. You're only in the ER because they locked the clinic door, and then the ER visit becomes the evidence that you belong in the clinic even less.
The post also flags what it calls the pediatric cliff at 18 to 23, the point where the protections that allowed the daughter to fight for her children simply evaporate. The oldest grandchild is already 23 with a GJ tube. The post predicts she'll face the same EHR flags, care denials, and transition gaps the author is navigating now.
Which means the documentation the author is building isn't just personal record keeping. It's a tactical map for the next generation walking into the same trap.
And the trap has a history. The post connects the current blacklisting architecture to the broader framework of cost-effectiveness metrics, quality calculations, resource allocation decisions that quietly shifted the medical system's default from treating the patient in front of you to calculating whether that patient is worth treating.
The frogs didn't notice the water boiling because they kept calling the stove evidence-based care.
The post doesn't leave it as abstraction. It grounds all of it in the specific, documented experience of one family. The retaliatory dismissal, the EHR flags, the telehealth dead ends, the veterinary parallel with cats still showing aspergillus symptoms 3 years after leaving the mold environment, as evidence that this isn't a perception problem. It's a structural one.
That's the thread that runs through everything here. The cost of being right about a system that needs you to be wrong.
And that cost compounds across generations, which is exactly where the next piece of the story lives.
What stays with me is the gap between what pediatric advocacy can win and what the adult system is designed to absorb.
The post makes that gap concrete. Same family, same diagnosis, different rules depending on your age. That's not a glitch. That's the design.